The Science Portal is a website that the scientific community can use to run integrated models. So that is where the outputs of one model go into the inputs of another, and so on in a chain of models. So you can link together 2 models, 3 models or more. The Science Portal is somewhere where scientists can go to run these models without any knowledge, without needing to have any knowledge of the technical aspects of downloading these models, making sure that you've compiled the code correctly, making sure that you've got all of the technology installed on your machine, and so on. So you can use this to just simply select a coupled model, select one of these integrated models, and run it quite easily. So the front page of the Science Portal is shown here. You've got 5 navigation buttons at the top. The one on the right simply logs you out. And the one on the left shows the home page, which we will add to in the future. And the middle 3 are the most interesting ones. So the first is the documentation page. So on there we've got links to the manual for the portal, so you can click on that and download a PDF version of the manual where you can see all of the detail that you would need to run a couple model. You've got links to various related websites, and there's links to various tutorial videos which have been done before for the Science Portal. We've also got these help icons, which are little blue question marks, which are dotted around the site in various places. And they aim to give online help where the user will need it. So if the user's trying to run an experiment and they get stuck or they don't know what to do, they will be able to click on one of those icons, and it should bring up a pop-up which will tell them exactly what they need to know about the particular element of the web page that they're looking at the time. So I'll show you an example of that as we go into the experiments page. So on the Experiments tab, when you click the Experiments tab, you've got 4 navigation buttons which pop up. So it pops up with a sub-menu. The first one is to create new experiments with. The second one is to show your results. So from the experiments that you've run previously, that will show a list of all of those. So you can select them, download the results, and perform various actions on each one. The third one is to search results. So after a while, if you're a regular user, you may have quite a collection of existing runs that you've done before. So you might have quite a large database of results, and if you want to find one particular one, or one that uses a particular model in the coupling, you should be able to find that quite easily with the search results tab. And the fourth one is probably used a bit more rarely, and that's to upload results that you have on your machine, which you may have accidentally deleted from the portal, and you want to re-add them to your account again. So if we go through the process of creating an experiment first, you create a new experiment with the box on the left, on the upper left corner of the screen. And again, these help icons, which you can click on for instant online help, should be able to show you what to do if you're not instantly familiar with the process of creating an experiment. So these little help question marks will pop up with boxes with information which point to various parts of the screen. So for example, this one says that this is the interface that allows you to create new experiments. You click next and it points to the next thing that you have to click on and explains that part. And these pop-ups take you on a tour around that section of the website. And they should be able to help instantly without you having to look back at previous documentation that you may have downloaded. And it stops you having to look at the large manual for the portal in order to perform simple tasks. The first thing that you have to do when you are creating a new experiment is choose a coupling. So a coupling is just another word for an integrated model. So we have existing models, and on this project we've coupled them together so that the outputs of one will go into the inputs of the next one, and then the outputs of that will go into the inputs of the one after that, and so on in the chain until you get the results that you want. So this drop-down box here shows you the couplings that are available in the portal currently, and they will be added to as the project goes on and in the future. They've got fairly cryptic names at the moment, but there is a facility when a coupling is added to the SciAS portal to add a picture which shows a flowchart of what happens in the coupling. And you get that by hovering over this icon here. So for example, for this model, it's a fairly simple coupling which has a database of emission scenarios from which you can either choose one or create one yourself. And that then gets fed into a simple climate model called MAGIC. And that climate model outputs the global air surface temperature, the global mean air surface temperature, and the average sea level rise as well, amongst other things. To set up a new experiment, you just click that button, and the loading box is for when it's transferring files on the server to your own particular space. And that's done so that multiple users can use the same coupling at the same time. And you can be running many runs of the same coupling yourself as well, as they're all running on the server. They all run using different files, and so they don't interfere with each other. So it's possible for many users to be using the same coupling at the same time. Once the experiment has been set up, you get this lower section of the screen appears, and this is where you can configure your coupling. You can configure the parameters for each module in the sequence. So to do that, you use this top box here in the lower section, which has a list of all the modules in the coupling. So when you choose one of those, we'll choose the top one, you can see that model has two parameters, and those parameters are shown in the next drop-down box. The parameters are set, and you can choose the parameters with this lower box down here. So for example, for the emission scenario parameter, which will go into the start of the coupling, you can choose that parameter, and the parameter is of the selection type. So you can choose from a list which emission scenario you would like to go into the MAGIC model, the next model in the list. So any module in the coupling can have parameters, and any one of those parameters is configured there. And once you've done that, once you've set up the coupling as you would like, all you have to do is put in a name for the experiment and a description as well, which you can use, and you'll refer to that later. Once you go to your results screen and you select one of your previous experiments, it will come up with that description again, and hopefully it would help you to remember why you did the experiment, or you can put any notes in there that you want which may help you in the future. So once you've entered those things, you just click Execute Experiment, and you get a little loading box that comes up immediately, and then it takes you back to the initial screen that you were on as we started creating the experiment. And now you can do whatever you would like to do. So you can log out of the website, you can use different parts of the website. Your experiment will be running and you can't interfere with it in any way. And the way that you know that it's running is by going on the results screen. And you can see that on this results screen there's already 4 previous experiments which have been run and they've completed because they've got the green tick next to them. And 2 experiments are currently running, one of which was the one that we just set up. You can click on any one of your previous results and it will show you the results files at the lower part of the screen. So this is a list of all of the outputs from the MAGIC model, for example. And those output files you can then download to your machine and do with them as you would like. The portal also provides the facility to visualize the results as well. It allows you to visualize certain types of results files that come out. So for one particular coupling that we've implemented, you can click on this histogram button at the bottom and it will detect whether you have the relevant file in the output file list. And then that will bring up a pop-up where you can visualize the data. These buttons on the right-hand side allow you to do various things with all of the results that you have. So for this experiment, the top one that we've clicked, you can click on the Download All button, which will give you a zip file of all of the files that you've got at the bottom of the screen there. You can delete previous experiments that you don't need, and there's various buttons for the configuration and overview of the experiment that you ran. The configuration button, that will download a file which reminds you which modules are in the coupling and what parameters you set previously. So you can have a look at that if you've forgotten what happened previously in your experiment. The search results page gives you the ability to narrow down the results that you had in that list on the first part of the on the results tab. So in the search results page, you've got these 5 boxes from which you can select the coupling that you had. You can select which parameter you would like, and you can select the value of that parameter. And when you do that, you can click the search button. It brings up all of the previous results that you have, which use those. It brings up all the previous experiments that you had, which have that value for that particular parameter, for that particular coupling. And the Account tab just gives you, for your user, on your user account, it brings up all of the details that the system has for your account. It brings up all of the couplings that you're allowed to run, and you can change various things in here, such as your email address and other aspects of your account. You can change your password, anything that you would expect from a normal website where you have to log in with account details. Okay, and the final button is to log out, and that's the end of the tour.